Hi, everyone, and welcome to the BoldChess show. I'm your host, Roland, and with me, the international master, Medarde. In this call, we will cover the questions that you need to ask before making any chess move. Basically, our master, Luis, prepared a checklist for us to follow in every chess game. And this checklist will help us understand how to evaluate positions and what we need to play and pay attention to before playing every move. We will cover various topics and questions in this call, and these questions will be answered in the checklist that Master Luis has prepared for us. The questions go as follows. Basically, we will learn how to avoid blunders and win games more consistently by following this checklist that we will discuss. We will learn how to play openings without memorizing any lines, just understanding the basic opening principles. We will learn how to avoid the traps and scan the board for tactics. We will also discuss how to greatly improve our calculation skills without having the natural ability to see so many moves ahead. By just following this checklist, automatically we are improving our brain's capacity to think in the right way and to calculate the proper amount of moves that suits our level. Chess masters usually, like Master Luis, they have internalized this process. They think of this checklist without actually repeating the steps one by one. We are trying to learn in this video how this checklist works and how we need to internalize the process. This is exactly the purpose of this presentation. And last but not least, we will also check what is the simplest and easiest way to improve in chess, mostly for beginners, but advanced players will also benefit from it if they are feeling overly overwhelmed with any specific study program, or they just don't know what to focus on. It's good to have you, Luis, with us on the call. Thank you for preparing this checklist.
My pleasure.
It's always great to see these interesting topics, practical stuff that will help everyone improve in chess and master the game. We'll start first with basic safety checks. This is for all players, but mostly for beginners if they are still having difficulties in applying these checks. The first step is to check if the move that you are playing is being attacked and what your opponent is attacking. So the square that you are moving to, is it safe? Are you leaving something behind when you are moving this piece? And you also have to check if your king is safe or not. So these simple questions you need to ask, which is the first step before making any move. Is the piece in check? Is your king in check? And what is your opponent threatening in the immediate next move? The next level, of course, you can go a bit deeper and check if your opponent can also check your king in the next move, or if your opponent can capture a piece or activate a tactic in a move or two. But as a start, these are the safety checklist that you need to be aware of as the first step before you confirm any move. Do you have anything to comment, Luis, on these, or maybe an important point that you'd like to emphasize on?
No, I think, well, like basically this is it. You can refer this also as checks and captures, but sometimes we might forget things. So there are like the most forcing moves. Sorry, you have to always calculate the most forcing moves. And obviously, like every time you move, the position changes a bit. So you have to check what has changed. Also, like, like think if your opponent has any forcing move that bothers you, and these are the most important points. Obviously, the king safety is the most important because, okay, like if your king is in trouble, you lose the game. So maybe pay special attention to it. But no, like this it like candid moves, checks, captures, is my king safe, like can my opponent check, and maybe I would add only that in general by nature we try to think too much about our own plans and we don't check our opponent's possibilities too much. So pay special attention to the opponent's possibilities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with your insights, and thank you for pointing these points out. Next, we have the basic attacking and planning checklist. This goes after the safety check. This checklist goes as follows. We need to see if our move attacks anything. What is the point basically of our move? Is it attacking? Is it defending a weak piece? Are we developing a new piece because our pieces might be inactive at a certain position? Is this move that we are playing help us or can help us control the center? Is there any open files on the board that we can take control of by placing our rook, for example? And is it possible to activate a pin or fork? Is there any tactic, an easy tactic that we can find? Of course, for advanced players, they have to scan for all range of tactics, but for beginners, pins and forks are the most two popular types of tactics that they need to be aware of. If they can pin their opponent's pieces, or if they can fork with their knight or with other pieces, if they can have this kind of immediate benefit out of their opponent's positions. This usually becomes more vivid in lower rated games. We're talking about from uh, from 1000 to 1300. These ideas become much more vivid, and then the more we progress in the levels and the end rating, you will be able to internalize this process and move on to more advanced checklists. Next, we have the end game phase. So after we finish up from all the safety checks and the attacking and planning checklist, we have one more checklist, which is we need to see if we are in the end game or not, and if our plans are aligning with the end game principles. So in end games, as we all know, we have our king has to be more active than passive, because chances are we don't really have too many pieces on the board anymore. We need the king to be out there contributing to our plans. We have to create passed pawns if we don't have ones already. We need to check if our pawns are protected. If not, then we need to check if we can protect them, push them, and see if we can even promote them. And along the way, we need to verify if we can stop our opponent's passed pawns or opponent's plans in checkmating our king. So this is basically the last checklist that we need to keep in mind. And this is a situational checklist that is basically more relevant in the final phase of the game. And last but not least, we have time management. If you are playing in a local tournament, or you are playing, or even if you are playing online, you need also to check the clock, what kind of time format you are doing. We always recommend beginners to play rapid and classical games. Blitz from time to time would be fun, but bullet chess does not help much. So try to stay away from bullet chess as much as possible. It's fun, it's entertaining, of course, as we all say, but in terms of improving in the game of chess, bullet chess does not help much. We have also a video on bullet chess on our channel. Make sure to check it out. So we have developed this method, which is called the S.A.F.E method. And this is basically a summary of the points that we have just listed. The first step is to check and scan all the pieces for immediate threats and your king's safety. Then the second step would be to check for attacking opportunities, pins, forks, and other tactical motives. Then we look forward to fortify our position, strengthen our position, development, center control, piece protection. And last but not least, we think about how this will affect our end game and the long-term advantages, like the pawn structure, king activity, pass pawns, which becomes more vivid in the last stages of our chess game. As long as you memorize these four steps, which is scan, attack, fortify, and endgame, a short term for these four is safe, you will be able to reach the 1500 in chess regardless of your talent or skill level. As long as you are putting in the work and following this checklist and and say this checklist loudly before every move. Play a slow chess game and repeat this checklist in every move. You will be able to see great improvements in your games. And we are going to have a live demonstration after this lesson where we will show you how you can actually apply this checklist in a live game. Now, for all of our viewers who are advanced players, intermediate to advanced players, and would like to learn beyond this checklist, or if they consider this checklist to be very basic for them, as you all know, we have Master Luis with us on the call, and we have an advanced checklist with us, specialized for intermediate to advanced players. I will give the lead to Master Luis now to help us go through this advanced checklist.
Thank you, Roland.
Thank you, Luis.
Yes. Well, if you already master all what we have already discussed in the video, you can try to go deeper. For example, earlier we talked about ping and forks. Okay, here there are like other motifs that you might look for, you might like find in many positions, but basically you have to be aware of like, the tactical opportunities. You have to have a wide range of tactical motifs that you have mastered before by doing a lot of tactics, and you have to find your opportunities. Maybe I might add that you should not always like you should never make a move without a clear purpose. Like either like you have a clear idea because you want to attack, either you want to defend something, but like every time you make a move, you have to, maybe it's a bad idea, but like to actually have an idea. And yeah, also if you play aggressive chess, it's usually more annoying for your opponent. So look for sacrificing pieces, combination, attack your opponent's king, this kind of thing that it's quite annoying, and your opponent is one mistake away of losing the game pretty much. And like I think in some books they say like hanging pieces tend to disappear. So assess your pieces' vulnerability and defensive resources. You have to be careful with your pieces. Be aware of the hanging pieces you have, because it's much easier to lose that pieces that are well defended. So yeah, I think
totally
mainly that's
true.
about tactical and immediate threats.
It's good to know that for players who are wondering where they can learn all these tactical motives that Master Luis is talking about, we have a free crash course on YouTube that covers all tactics, in addition to the academy that we offer at boldchess.com. There are over 50 plus tactical motifs, but the most popular ones are pins, skewers, force, discovered attacks, overloaded pieces, attraction, counter checks, clearance. Those are the most popular ones that we see all the time, but there is much, much more. But if you can master the ones that we have listed in this presentation, you should be very, very good to go on your way to even.
A lot. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Moving on, we have position and structure. Could you help us, Luis, on this point as well?
For sure. Many times when I had to make a move or when I'm not sure what to do, I ask myself 3 questions. That is, like, how can I improve my worst piece? This is never a bad idea, you have a bad piece, you improve it. Okay, like nothing bad is going to happen because of that. You can ask yourself what is your opponent's idea, and also what are the weaknesses in the position. You can like make these questions in many ways. Like sometimes, well, I increase the amount of questions, and like I try to like to make 10 questions, 6 questions. But these 3 questions, I think, are mentioned in some book from Agard. Well, Jacob Agard, he's a famous coach, but okay, like this is an example, but okay, I had already like also asked me these kind of questions, try to change the list and all of that. But I think basically you evaluate the pawn structure, you think about potential breaks. Okay, every time you break, the position changes. If you manage to do it on your favor, that's a big achievement. Also, many times be able to keep the tension and don't solve the tension too early, because like it's easier for your opponent. Think about bad pieces, assess your piece placement, coordination between like all your pieces. You have to control like the key squares, the weaknesses, just like, and consider prophylactical moves. Probably this one, like I insist in this a lot because maybe it's because I had this problem in the past a lot, that I was not considering my opponent's moves enough. I remember some time ago I worked with a very strong GM, and in the first class we had, he told me, you pretty much don't consider your opponent moves. You only see what you have, like what you want to see. And like I was already 2350 feeder rating at that time. I mean, I was already like a strong or like a decent player, you know. And he saw me my own games, and I realized that he was like completely right. I was not considering enough and not paying attention to my opponent moves, so I would stress this point a lot.
Absolutely. This is even relevant for people who are just starting out in chess. We see them
Yeah,
trying,
completely.
facing up an opponent who is just playing with the queen and bishop and trying to checkmate their king. And just because they have missed a very basic checkmate pattern, they are not thinking what their opponent's moves are meant for, or what is their opponent's plan with his latest moves. They just fall quickly into some kind of cheap traps against the players who don't even know how to play chess properly. So this actually, I think, is a universal advice that starts with the players from the absolute basics, when they're even learning basic checkmate patterns and how they should not put their pieces in on undefended squares, all the way, as you said, Luis, to the grandmasters levels, where you need to think 15 moves ahead and analyze what your opponent is thinking and why he did this move. There is always a reason of why a certain opponent plays a certain move. Even if he doesn't know what to move, there is always some kind of internal justification for him to play a specific move. And if we can find out that reason of why our opponent played a specific move, it will automatically makes us a better chess player. We'll be able to anticipate their moves, able to anticipate their plans, and prepare much better. And this will allow us to align our plans and strategy to counter their strategies and to give us that tempo ahead, or let's say a minor advantage, which we can convert later on in the game. For beginners, the advantage can be converted almost instantly. For advanced players, it may take 20 to 30 moves depending on the complexity of the game.
Yeah.
Next, we have strategic and dynamic elements. This is also important. Luis, what's your opinion on this topic?
Well, one of the most important things is like when you make a move that changes the position forever, or like there is no no going back,
No
be a
turning back.
special, just be a special, careful with it. For example, many times people say, yes, I traded a knight. I mean, and okay, like I traded a knight for a knight, so the position is the same before and after trading knight. Okay, maybe like the computer evaluation or like the objective evaluation changed a lot with that trade. So every time you trade a piece, you have to ask yourself if actually like it's something you want or not. Like, for example, I realized something that every strong player does is he usually knows what pieces he wants to trade and what pieces he doesn't want to trade. For example, let's say with this pawn structure, I want to trade the rooks and keep this bishop against his knight, or like this kind of thing. And weaker players don't think about these like long-term plans that much. So try to add that thought in your games. What pieces do I want to trade? What pieces do I not want to trade? What is my best piece? Maybe I don't want to trade it, this kind of thing. Consider long-term positional advantages. Okay, like sometimes a lot of things happens, but a strong player knows, yeah, more or less knows how he's gonna win 60 moves later. Like not exactly like this, but what I mean is he knows there is, let's say, um, some problem in the opponent's pawn structure, so he's trading only the pieces, like step by step, and at some point in the endgame, that's a problem. So yeah, think long term, assess the initiative and counterplay options. It's difficult sometimes to find the balance in between thinking long term. So yes, in the endgame, he has this pawn structure that is bad, but okay, to get that, I didn't develop any piece. I changed it on my develop. Okay, so like try to find the balance and also like think about your opponent's ideas, think if your opponent can sorry, attack you. But yeah, basically assess the initiative and the counterplay options and try to realize if your opponent is planning something. And also for you, like sometimes people are pessimistic about their options, so try to actually evaluate it properly and being objective and look for small positional advantages. Okay, like think about the like many times I ask my students, what is the best part of your position? What is the worst part of your position? So ask yourself these kind of questions. I think naturally we tend to calculate too much. Like we are thinking, oh, I'll move the bishop here, he moves the bishop there, all this kind of thing. But if we think, okay, the position is, and like you talk to yourself, okay, I'm better because I have more development, so I have more development. Then if I do nothing, he develops his pieces and my advantage disappears. So I have to do something quick. So what can I do quickly? Like in the next few moves, how can I break? How can I attack his king? Because I have realized I need to do something quickly. So I'm looking for something quickly. And then you find the move. This is much easier, especially for adult improvers or like people that already like are able to think logically, than just expecting you to find the best move out of nowhere. If you talk to yourself, think about the position, well, understand it, it's much easier once you know what you are looking for to find it, that to find the best move just because, yeah, because it's the move you calculate, so you make it, and that's more difficult in my opinion.
Absolutely. All of these are very important points. And for beginners who feel that this is maybe too advanced for them, it's always good to keep it in mind. And you can still apply these points even if you can only think 2 or 3 moves ahead. These are like universal principles. They are not really strictly for advanced players. Positional advantages and counterplay and these and piece exchanges and transformations can happen at within only few moves even. So chess, as we say, grows out with you. The more you improve, the more complex the game becomes, but you can still enjoy and apply these tips in every single level, regardless of whether you can move 2 moves, you can think 2 moves ahead, or 10 or 15. Moving on to calculation and time, Master Luis pointed out this this uh, this tip in our past videos as well, which is basically how players needs to balance out between their between how to manage how they can manage their clock and how they need to assess the position. Depending on what kind of time format they are doing and how much time they need to spend on board. Could you please, Luis, give us some insights here about how players can approach time and calculation?
Sure. Well, first of all, you have to always calculate the forcing variations, because calculating non-forcing variations is much more difficult, because when your opponent can make basically any move, like either you calculate, I don't know, like 25 moves like for your opponent in every move, or like you cannot be sure. If he's forcing it, it's much easier to calculate, where humans, we cannot calculate 1 million per move, so focus in the important. And also sometimes, okay, like quiet moves can be very strong, but usually it's because you detect something in the position, like, okay, I know, like my king safety is very important, so suddenly I make a loft for my king, and that's like a game changer, or like, but usually these quiet moves are stronger when you know what you're looking for, as I said earlier. Verify calculation backwards, okay, once, especially like in a slow time control, so when you have a bit of time, okay, I understand, like you're playing bullet, you cannot like calculate, verify, and but if the game is like a serious game, once you calculate, make sure the line is forcing, like think, okay, I have this, and this, okay, so until this is forced, okay, the move before is forced, we like, you have to verify what you like thought is true, now that maybe you already know the line you expect to play and you expect your opponent to play, but make sure it's actually forced and you are not missing anything. Also, sometimes you have to make the decision depending on your time. For example, I know with 1 minute, you cannot enter in such difficult, tactical, complicated positions if your opponent has a lot of time. So take into account and be a bit practical. Okay, I'm like, I still have a lot of time. I can keep the tension, or it's easier or better in practice to keep the tension. Maybe if I don't have much time, I go for a bit better endgame rather than, I know, a crazy position where I feel I'm winning, but my king is in trouble and I might miss something and I'm, I'm lose. And try to be objective, because usually people are either very optimistic or very pessimistic. At least once you know the kind of player you are, when in doubt, you think, okay, I guess I'm winning, but it looks bad, and you have realized you tend to be very optimistic. Okay, then think critically, double check, and make sure that's true. And
Absolutely.
try to find the balance. Some people just feel, okay, this is the move, so I play more or less.
Without
Other people,
justification.
it's like, yeah, they calculate a lot. They don't find until, I know, like some long sequence the move, but it's super clear. They are winning and they feel it, but they still don't go for it. So also try to find the balance in between just playing by intuition and by concrete analysis. We are not computers, so we won't calculate 1 million, 1 million, 2 million. I don't know how many moves by like per second calculate like nowadays. I would computer, but try to calculate. Obviously, you have to justify your decisions by it being able to explain, okay, I calculated this, and this, so I made this decision. But at the same time, rely on your intuition, because your brain knows deep patterns that might help you to, well, to make the best choices.
So true. This is really very important insights, Luis, you shared with us today. And to make a quick summary here on what Luis told us, uh, basically, if you are a beginner, you go just with the S.A.F.E method, and once you reach 13 to 1400, then you can start applying uh, the other advanced strategies and tactics that we have pointed out, which are basically, you look for tactics and immediate threats, you evaluate your structure and position, you check your opponent's play, what kind of strategy you are doing, you look for small advantages, you think long term and in the end game. And last but not least, you also need to check your clock, check your time, check your calculations, and always verify your moves, balance out between how much forcing variations you can do versus if the position dictates a quiet move. And so depending on the situation, you may want to switch um, your strategy. Sometimes it's difficult to find a forcing variation, for example, like how Master Luis told us. it might be good to have a quiet move that slightly improve our position in this case when a forcing variation cannot be seen on site. And for everyone who likes to learn how to improve in chess, we have prepared a quick 5 steps for them that they can follow. Start first by solving 10 chess tactics per day and increase this amount depending on your time. If you are a student, you might not be able to solve more than 10 with the schoolwork. If you are a busy adult, it might also be challenging with your work obligations to solve so much. But start with 10 first. And once you get more time, you can increase this from 10 to 20 and so on. And then when you are playing your games, always remember the checklists that we have that we have shared with you in this presentation. Start with the S.A.F.E checklist, the S.A.F.E checklist. And then once you master this and you feel that there is no need for you to think about it anymore, then you go on to the advanced checklist that Master Luis shared with us today. The next step is to cover basic checkmate patterns and endgames. This is if you are a beginner. If you are an advanced player, you can go even much deeper by solving complex checkmate patterns, studying lots of endgames from masters or from local tournaments. This will greatly help you improve your own games. And as we all say, and like how Master Luis always advise all his students, is review your own games. These always are gold mines for you. They help you get to the next level. They help you understand what your mistakes are. And you can do that either using chess engines or hiring a chess coach, online or offline. And of course, you can also consider joining a local club or an online chess academy like the one we offer at boldchess.com. Our academy covers pretty much everything you need, from openings to endgames to tactics to positional motifs. We have complete plans and checklists like this one, but even in much more depth and details. And we give you the full path that you need to follow on a daily basis with full plans to achieve the 2000 rating in chess. From there, you can go beyond, of course, by joining a local club or hiring a personal chess coach, depending on your time availability and how busy you are. You can check our academy at boldchess.com. And now to connect all the pieces, we're going to have a live chess game with Master Luis. Basically, me and Luis will play a chess game against Stockfish level 5, which is an intermediate engine. We'll make the game fun and educational, so to show you how we can apply this checklist. And we will alternate the moves, as in I will play a move, then Luis will play a move, and this way you will see the perspective of the game from different players, which will make it more interesting. What do you think, Luis? Are you ready for a quick match against an engine?
Yes, I hope we don't get destroyed.
No, hopefully
Oh,
we will.
yeah,
Hopefully we
for
do
sure.
well.
Yeah.
All right, I will see you on the board. Here we are at the board with Master Luis. We will analyze our moves on this little board here, and we'll play them on this one. I will play a move, and Master Luis will play a second move. So we will alternate moves in this game to explain the game from different perspectives. If I do a mistake, Luis, please let me know. This is an educational video, so we would like to give the audience the best possible moves in this position. So if you find me, if I blundered in any way, just point it out to me and explain to the viewers why a specific move is not good, so we can actually get some insights from this game. The objective is to learn, of course, to see how to apply this checklist in a real game, and not to demonstrate skills. If you like to see other videos where Luis demonstrates his skills, you can check how he managed to beat Patricia in one of our past videos, and other chess engines that we have published on our channel. But for this presentation is purely educational. I'm going to start the first move, Luis, with d4.
Yeah, not surprise here.
No surprise here. So Stockfish replied by the knight. What would be your next move?
I'll make you happy. So bishop f4.
Bishop of 4. This is the London system for the viewers. And as you can see from the board, we don't really have any attacks going on. We are just playing in a very, we are developing sensible pieces. We have developed the pawn. We gave space for our bishop. You don't need to memorize openings to just activate your pieces to some reasonable squares. You can just do that simply by just observing the board and playing the pieces to some active squares. I'm going to play the knight to f3. Stockfish replied by the bishop to g7.
Yeah. So we'll go with e3.
We'll go with
Pawn
e3.
to e3.
The idea
Trying to
here, of course, I think we are protecting the pawn, we are protecting the bishop, we are giving space for our bishop to develop. So it's giving us plenty of room to put our pieces on more sensible squares. So your opponent played a move as well. He's developing to a sensible square. He's trying to activate his bishop maybe later on. He's preparing for castle king side. It's always important to scan for these little plans that your opponent is doing. I'm going to go with bishop to d3. Point being is I need to prepare for castle king side as well.
Okay, I'll castle. He castle. He has no immediate threats. We continue with our plan. So yeah, like let's do castle.
Absolutely. Let's castle king side and see what he has in mind. Very well. So he moved on the pawn to c4. In this case, he is attacking our pawn here. We have to see, this is the first check in our checklist. We need to see our opponent, what are his plans, what is he trying to do. He's currently attacking our pawn. Our pawn is defended by 2 pieces. There is no danger with this pawn. We can just continue our development without worrying about this attack. We can go with the rook to e1. We can also develop our second knight, which can also be a sensible square. In the London system, developing the knight is a good idea. So we'll just go to c3. The Stockfish decided to capture anyway the pawn. What do you think?
With the pawn?
Let's take with the pawn.
Yes, if we had taken with the knight, we would blunder a piece. So it was kind of an easy choice.
True. Stockfish decided to go with the queen. Again, we need to scan the position. Our pawn is currently under attack. We have a couple of options here. This pawn is not under attack because our knight is protecting the pawn. So as we said in the checklist, always scan to see what is the point of your opponent's last move. Is he trying to attack? Is he trying to initialize a specific tactic? So right now, this is not the threat. He might be planning to capture this pawn at some point, although I'm not sure at this level if this is actually what he has in mind or not, because from a strategic point of view, capturing the pawn immediately might not be the best move. What do you think, Louise, here in this case? Is really the plan of level 5 here to capture the pawn, or?
Honestly, I'm not really sure about his strength. I would not be very worried about queen takes b2, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah, like as his return, I don't know if I can suggest a move or not, or like how much I can say, but probably I could indirect defend the pawn, but I would not like waste a move, to only defend it. Like I don't want to have a passive. Let's say I think rook b1, for example, is not a bad move, but it wouldn't be the best one because the rook will be passive there.
Absolutely.
So I would try to find some useful move that helps me to defend the pawn at the same time if it's possible. But yeah, I don't think queen takes to 2 is like a very
Right,
big spot.
right. My candidate move, since it's my turn, I have a couple of candidate moves I would like to take your opinion on. I rook to e1 is one of the moves I'm thinking of. Even a4 can also be an option. I'm also thinking of let me see if there is anything else. Even the knight might be a square, but I'm not really enjoying the knight at the corner of the board just to defend the pawn. Which line do you think is more sensible?
I like your rookie one, for example, but I was also thinking about playing a3, pawn to a3.
Pawn to a3.
So we take away the a3 and b4 squares for his
Right.
queen. So if he takes, we would have knight a4, and we would win the queen then. So a3 is
Absolutely.
not useless. We improve our position a little bit. We set up a little trap, and well, later we can continue. But all the moves you said are fine too. So like I don't know, like whatever move you feel from the moves you said, I think it's gonna be fine.
Very, very well. I liked a3. Now, after you told me a3, I liked it. Okay, it's your turn now.
So
So the knight is, we have now two attackers attacking our little pawn here. So this is now a subject of,
yeah, I think well, I'm kind of in doubt between pushing the pawn and attack his knight on or playing rook e1. I think I'll go with pushing the pawn. A3 was also useful to avoid knight before here.
right.
So let's push the
Let's
pawn.
push the pawn forward. He did attack our pawn, which is unexpected. I did not see this coming. We did talk about this before. Um, Although we lost a pawn, but now he is going to lose lots of tempo moves, and I believe he is got himself into trouble here. Our rook is protected. I'm going to put to make the analysis on the analysis board to show the viewers. So our rook is protected by the knight, and he cannot capture this pawn as well because our bishop is guarding it. The only thing that is currently under attack is our knight. So naturally, we have to move our knight because it's currently under attack. That's the only thing we need to think of. And there are only two sensible squares, which is the b5 square and the a4. And of course, the a4 is much more powerful because we will be attacking the queen at the same time. I'm going to go with knight to a4. Do you agree with my reasoning, Luis?
Yeah, I think he like Stockfish made a mistake here. We are about to take his queen.
Oh, that's he just decided to go with this line. I played your move because it's common sense. We
Yeah.
have to capture uh, we have to capture the rook. For all the viewers who likes to follow the evaluation, you can look at the right side of the screen. You can see all the engine's movements and the evaluation graph. Me and Luis were focusing on the board itself. I'm just trying to update the moves here. For all the viewers who likes to follow and check the analysis on board. So right now, Stockfish is attacking our bishop.
Yeah.
We have two possible ways. We either need to move the bishop or protect the bishop, but this is not the only attack for people to notice. Always, when every move happens, you have to see what did our opponent leave. This is a discovered attack. So it makes it feel that we are just getting our bishop only attacked and we can just like move the bishop backward, but this is a double attack. So we need to defend the bishop and we need to remove our queen from straight. And the only square that can accomplish both is queen to c1. All right, so let's just update the board here. He captured, and we have to capture back. That's the only move.
My moves are being easy.
Yeah, I'm getting I'm
I'm
getting
glad.
some kind of analysis here. All right, very well. So he moved his bishop um, to e6. So we have here to analyze what is really happening here, what is really trying to accomplish. These bishops they don't are not proposing any threats. We are up material, so I would really like to exchange pieces, but then I don't really have any immediate pieces to exchange. Our knight is not placed well. Our rook is very passive. Moving our rook to some open files will really help later on, or improving the position of our knight. But right now, my knight cannot really jump anywhere to these positions thanks to these two amazing bishops here. So it's going to stay here for a while. I can try to improve my pawns. This is one move. This is a move that I'm thinking of. I can also look forward to activate this knight and try to attack this bishop, and I'm fine capturing if he didn't move it. Which move of which move of these, Luis, do you think is the most sensible one?
I think I will go with 95 probably because it creates a threat, and also like when you are material up, if you trade pieces, okay, you are able to win some endgame, but also if you have an extra piece, or in this case, okay, like if you're able to create an attack, like always when also when you're attacking, that piece really matters. So we can use our material advantage also to try to create some attack maybe. So 95 attacks his bishop, put some
Very well.
pressure against 8-7 pawn maybe for later. So probably I will go
Let's
with
go for
this.
it. Very well. So he moved his bishop to all the way to a2. I'm being honest, I'm not sure what was the point of this move. But regardless, we need to see what might our opponent's line of thinking is. Right now, I couldn't find, because moving the bishop backward is not possible. Our rook is guarding and the bishop is protecting this pawn. So I think he's just trying to remove his bishop out of danger, and he couldn't find a good square for his bishop anyway. He didn't want to keep it on this diagonal. So what do you think, Luis? It's your turn here.
I was thinking, honestly, I'm not completely sure because I was trying to find a way to to trap the bishop, but I'm not being able to do it. For example, first I thought about pushing my pawn to c4, but then he gets the b3 square for his bishop, so I was calculating a bit, but I don't see actually a way to trap the bishop. So I will try to improve my pieces.
Right.
And then, well, first I thought about creating threats. Queen h4 would be threatening checkmate. I think he has some good reply. Like basically he can push the pawn one square to h6. So I think I will go with rook e1, improve our pieces, and let's see how it goes.
Rook to e1. I like this move, and we had it on our list for quite some time. So it is nice to see. So he moved back his bishop. Now it's my turn. Let's see what to do here. I'm really feeling like I would like to. Actually, this knight, I'm not liking it here at all. I would like to find a way to somehow improve its position. I'm thinking of queen to d2 in attempting to move the knight next. Our queen here, I don't think it's doing much at this point. This is one idea I have. Other idea is just to challenge this bishop this way, or to move the bishop to c4 also. This can also, I'm thinking about it. Which one of these do you think, Luis, is more sensible?
I think I will go with c4, but in general I'm quite aggressive, so I'm like whenever you give me the choice, I always choose the
The most
the most
aggressive
first
one.
But I think with c4 he doesn't find a good square for the bishop,
Right.
because if he goes to e6, we could take it that it's what we wanted to do some a few moves ago. So that seems like a good idea to me. But all the moves you were saying are valid, I think.
Are passable. There is no blunders
Yeah.
here in accuracy. Very well. Let's go with this move then. All right. He moved the knight to e5. I see. The point being that he is saying that if we capture his bishop, he is going to capture our bishop and he will fork our queen and rook. This is how you run through the checklist. So our king is safe. Then next you see what is your opponent's next move is. What is he attacking? He's attacking our bishop. We're trying to attack his bishop. So what would be a good sensible square? I would suggest that we have to basically deal with this threat. We cannot allow the knight to jump here. At the same time, we have to protect our bishop.
Yeah, honestly, I just missed this. I won't pretend I saw it in advance, but I would retreat my bishop to f1 probably.
Let's go with
It's
f1.
not ideal, but I want to keep my c4 pawn and defend it. So yeah,
Right.
that's still doing fine, I think.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine position we are having here. Now at least my knight can move at last. I was going to move it without asking you because I've been wanting
Okay.
to move it like for quite some time. Uh, After that, Stockfish decided to attack our knight. I think we need to run with the knight. We have two squares. I think this one might be better. We are protecting the knight with multiple pieces as well.
Yes, I think I'll go there.
Let's go. The king moved. Let's see. It's my turn. What could be a good move here? I feel like the knight to d5 might be an option. The rook to b1, d1 can be candidate moves, perhaps. My bishop is a bit passive. But improving it also is not really technically possible. Also, the pawn to f3 can also be an option. Which one do you like, Luis, from these?
I like all them, but knight d5 probably is what I would play. Knight d5.
Knight to d5.
Yes, I think it's
This is
just
one
more.
of the moves that I suggested. True. This is looks interesting.
We create
Very
some
well.
threats. Our opponent a bit. Maybe here, I'm not sure if it's gonna work or how well it's gonna work, but I'll go queen h4.
Queen to h4. Very well.
Yes.
The point here is that
I want to, well, it's your turn, but my idea was that in the next move, it might be possible, or it might be good to give a check on g5,
right.
attack his king that is a bit weak. Now that he has pushed his f pawn, this might be, in my opinion, a good idea, or even
Absolutely.
better than earlier, because the e6 square now is weak, so we might jump there on the next move.
We also
Now
have a nice
yeah,
position for the knight. Shall we go for it?
yeah. So
Let's
we
go.
attack the rook, the bishop. We have pressure against the e7 pawn, also with our queen and our d5 knight combined. Okay.
Okay, it's my turn. There is not much to think of here. He's attacking my queen. You see, guys, when you are running low on time and you have a good attack going on, and there is very little thing to think about. Your queen is under attack. You cannot just leave your queen. It's as simple as that. You just need to find a square for your queen. We have the h5 potential candidate or the g3 potential candidate. The rest of the squares, I'm not finding them good. So these are the only two squares I'm thinking about. I'm not going to put my queen here to have a discovered attack from the knight to the bishop. So from between these two squares, which one do you think, Louise, is more sensible?
I will go to h5. I don't see any problem, and well, it's more aggressive.
More aggressive. Maybe g3 is a bit passive, right? Not
Yeah, I
not
mean,
much. Yeah.
I think both are fine, but with queen h5, we
Queen
also like
h5 might be better.
keep an eye on, I don't know, his pieces. We might continue
Mm,
attacking later.
absolutely. Let's update the board here. Sometimes I'm forgetting to update it. Very well. So it's your turn now. This looks nice. We might even find something better. Is this, he's protecting this pawn with two pieces, and should we just capture here?
Yeah, I was thinking if there is something better, but I think, okay, let's take, we don't want to run even lower in time.
Very well, it's my turn now. Now, as we run through the checklist, our king is safe. What is currently under attack? Our knight. So as simple as that, we have to move our knight to safety. We don't have too many squares for our knight. We have this square, which is the d4 square, and we have the c7 square. A more sensible square would be the d4 square. What do you think, Luis? Is this passable?
Yeah, I was calculating knight f3 check for him, as the rooks, like are in x-ray. But with knight d4, we defend because we could take with the knight.
Right.
Here, I understand is my turn. I'm thinking about knight takes f5.
Knight takes f5. And for the viewers who are asking why he can't capture back,
Okay, I think I'll go with it.
okay, we will show them why it's not, why it's a
Yes.
good move. Okay, let's see if
I hope
Stockfish will actually go
I'm
for
missing
it.
nothing.
So we did capture. He moved his knight to check our king. It's my turn. It's no brainer. My king is in check. I have to capture back. There is nothing for me to think of. I cannot really think of anything else. Let me just update the board here. So he captured our rook with his rook.
Yeah. And I was not, I saw this. I was deciding between queen g6, threatening checkmate, or taking the pawn on e6. As we
Right,
are low on time, I'll go with queen g6 because I think it's easier and more forcing.
right.
He has to take, like our knight will take his bishop, and this would be easy to win for us, even being low on time. This is about something I said in the video. When you are low on time, you have to make practical decisions. This is easy to win, even if knight takes f6 was better. Okay, we're happy with
Absolutely. Yeah,
this.
he decided to simplify the position even more. That is going to make it much easier for us to go about things. I will suggest here to move the queen to d7 is a sensible square for my queen.
Yeah,
Next, maybe we can start capturing these pawns.
yeah. I think here the fastest is to grab some pawns to make a passer, promote the second queen, and mate him. Like, yeah, we can take on a7.
Right. I'm going to stop updating the board here because this game is over. We're just going to show the viewers how to convert the position. So I will just, because as you can see from the evaluation bar, the game is over. We are just trying to convert the points. Would our queen to f7 be a good point?
I think so, yeah. We restrict his pieces. We get ready to push our a pawn if we want and promote the second queen. I think our
Right.
plan is as a4, a5, a6, a7, a8.
That would be a
And
very
our
simple
coordinate.
plan. I don't think he has anything to do. He cannot bring his bishop back anymore. We can capture back here. We just need to scan for stalemates, but I don't see stalemates quite yet. We just need to keep that in mind. As long as this pawn can move, there will be no more stalemates. Shall we capture here?
Yeah, I would push the pawns. Like, I don't care about him taking my f3 pawn, but I think that's, yeah, like, also easy is that.
All right, very well. Let's keep on with the pawns.
Now we promote and it should be made in a couple of moves, I guess.
True, it should be done. Let's just promote already. If he likes to capture one last pawn, it's okay. Have fun. Let's now calculate a very good forcing checkmate. Would h4 be a
Or
good
it's checkmate.
start?
Queen h5 is checkmate. It seems, yeah. Yeah, like that's mate.
Should be, should be. I was checking like this is it. Yeah, this is it. Very well.
I hope we didn't miss any checkmate in one or something like very quick earlier because we were focused on promoting the pawn.
Focusing on promoting the benefit. I think the match was very educational. We did apply the checklist as well. It seemed that level 5 is easy, but trust me, level 5 is not easy. Just because we have Luis with us on the call, it looked like it's very easy. But in reality, level 5 is a very good level for club players. You can practice with it. It doesn't really have any kind of major weaknesses. It can play sensible pieces. Of course, if you have a good trap in place, if you are calculating moves ahead, if you are playing sensible moves, you should be able to win like how we did in this match. We didn't play anything, we didn't have any crazy moves in this match. And as you can see, level 5 only did one blunder in the game, which means that the engine is pretty fine at this level. It's not very bad. It's just because we had a smooth position. We were basically, we developed our pieces to sensible squares. We kept our pieces active, and we only checked for certain threats that are in place to see if this is actually if we need to do anything to address them or not. We didn't do anything special. I'm sure Luis agrees with me that we did not have any complications in this game or crazy deep lines that we really need to.
We managed to do it kind of in an easy way. I mean.
True, like it felt like our pieces are almost like floating on the board without much of a friction. There is no deep calculations required, apart from the only 2 points where we had a bit of calculations is here. We did calculate that capturing the pawn is not good for black, and we demonstrated that in the game why it's not good for black. Because the queen pretty much will get trapped, and there is not much he can do about it. He should not have captured at all. And if you check our past videos against Chess Master in other challenges we had, also Chess Master tried to move his queen to the same square at b6 in a different opening. We were playing e4 on that game, but he ended up not capturing this pawn at all throughout the game because he understood that capturing this pawn is not really a very sensible idea most of the time, even though there might not be a queen trap, but most of the time if white is able to capitalize on the advantage, it should be pretty much fine. And all the rest of the moves were pretty much forcing. We didn't really have anything that is special here. The only move that maybe the viewers are wondering about is this capture. And we told them that we would like to feature a line where if a black actually did capture back like this way. And we told them that there is an idea. The idea that the reason why black cannot capture is because he is leaving the defender. The role of the bishop, let's roll back like one move. The role of this bishop was to defend the rook. If the bishop moves away to capture, it will leave the rook undefended. So this was the relation. For advanced players, they might have seen it already, but for beginners, they might say like, wow, this is Like they just threw their knight away. No, they are the bishop's role is to defend the rook in this case. This was the exact reason why Master Luis chose h5, because it's more aggressive. It keeps the pieces in check. It keeps the bishop attaining to its role of defending the rook. And the rest of the game is just mostly forcing moves. I mean, of course, Stockfish did not actually need to capture the bishop here. Sorry, I scrolled back very well. He did not actually need to capture this bishop if he wanted to prolong the game, but the game was over regardless. Whether he did capture the bishop or not, the material advantage was too overwhelming. And although he might be up a couple of pawns, but these pawns are not going to help him in any way. He is trying to push here some pawns, hoping that he will achieve stalemate. But with the bishop on board and that pawn all the way has lots of squares to move, there is no chance for a stalemate. This is how you need to adjust your checklist from checking for threats to attacks till the end games to check for stalemate while you are trying to get the most active checkmate pattern that you can find, which is in this case the best move was indeed to h4, and we did not miss any checkmate here. It was like a good game overall. We alternate the moves. You played my favorite opening. Thank you for that, Luis.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It was nice. For people who likes to learn this opening, we have a complete course on it on our academy. You can check it up. It's a very popular opening. Many club players like me like to play this opening because as you can see, it's easy to play. We didn't memorize any lines. We were just playing in a very natural way and able to find good plans for every single position.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Luis, for being with us on the call for this amazing game and for guiding us with these amazing checklists and how to go about them.
My pleasure. I enjoyed a lot as usual. Hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. We will, hopefully next week. All the best, Luis.
All the best.
All the best.